Good day to everyone, wherever you are. Good afternoon, good evening. I hope this webinar finds you very well. My name is Alexis, and I want to welcome you to this new webinar that we have today from the ICC with our trainer Natalie Vasina from Russia. It's executive coaching, additional tools to help transformation. Before we get started, I want to check with everyone to see and verify that you can hear and see well. So if you could please raise your hand on the application. There's a little hand that you can touch. Okay. If I see some hands, that means that you can hear me well. Very good. Excellent. During the session, you will have the ability to write your comments and your questions. There's a little question icon there, and that's where you can write all your comments and questions. Natalie will be answering your questions and comments at a certain point during the webinar. So without further ado, I'm going to leave with Natalie Vasina. Natalie, thank you for being with us today.
Okay, thank you very much, Alexis, and I'd like to say good morning or good afternoon to everyone who is here. I'm very happy to be with you and appreciate very much your decision to join my webinar. This webinar is mainly dedicated to professional coaches who works with executives and other clients, but mainly with executives. Today I will focus on additional and useful executive coaching tools to help leaders to transform, to help leaders transformation. This webinar will help to coaches who focuses on coaching leaders, managers, and target to achieve better results. It is well understood that we should ensure that we support people in experiencing
I think we've lost the audio. Let's see if it comes back. I lost audio. Can the attendees hear me? Can you raise your hand?
changes.
There, it's back. It's back.
And well,
the audio was lost for the last 20 seconds, and so I wasn't aware if you were still there or if the connection had been lost. It's back.
Okay. All right. So let's start. What do we face when we work with executives? The notion of coaching has expanded from the managing of sports teams to encompass a wide array of formal and informal relationships designed to support individual growth. Coaching has also become a key ingredient of organizational life, with 90% of large for-profit companies using coaching and over 50% reporting that they're considering coaching as the key part of learning development and crucial to their strategy using for leaders. I would like to start with some observations, and it's important to keep in mind and be prepared to some difficulties you may face working with the business leaders. What difficulties we face when we work with executives? The first one, the change of the leader is not supported by organizations. Sometimes it happens. Usually it isn't a hidden issue. Mainly we can see it when we work with N-2 or N-3 leadership levels. What does it mean? It means that the leader works hard on himself with your help, deliver changes in his personal approach, behavior, soft skills, while organizational culture or actions becoming the barrier or makes the change more difficult. For example, the overall task is to work on leadership model and change the current power model of management to softer model. But in 3 months of work, the company enter a huge reorganization and our client redirected to report to the other person who is not a role model for him. So basically, this is the example. The second issue we can face with is that leader do not trust to the 360 evaluation results. What sometimes is a starting point for executive coaching, by the way, in different companies. This is a real issue when in the beginning you have a client who is not 100% aligned with the feedback, because we get lots of leadership aspects evaluated by people and not enough supporting facts or supporting context in these results of 360 evaluation study. The third issue is that leaders do not have enough reliable feedback from his peers or subordinates. This is also a real issue, and I faced almost every time when I work with the high-level management. Just absence of simple and transparent feedback may become a starting point of useless work of the coach. How to help leader to find that area and become fully aligned with expected changes working with the coach? Each of you have own secrets and tools. And we will focus today on tools which will help you as a coach to work with leaders to deliver transformation and balance between organizational results for the leader and the results of the particular client. First, I'd like to remind you that there are three key aspects of leadership. And basically, this is three areas of leadership focusing on three things. So first is the task, what it is. A task is connected directly to business results, what makes the leader a real, authentic leader. Few things will describe that task means. The first in our focus is result-oriented person. Business is always about results, and this is majority of leaders that primary focusing on KPIs. Second thing here within the task, within the business results, is this strong ability for strategical thinking and vision. The third is change management. And last but not the least is consistency in actions and decisions. The second aspect of leadership is people. And mainly it's connected to interaction with people. So it's about interaction with people of different levels. And this aspect is also combined from number of things. And I would identify the key 5 under people and interaction with people things. First, it's to build trust and high ability to cooperate. Second is influence. Third is managing effectiveness. Fourth is aspire for the goal. And the fifth, communicate to people on a regular basis. The third aspect of leadership, which has two sides, external and internal, is a mindset or thinking. As I said, it has 2 sub-levels, external and internal. External aspect is mainly dedicated to 4 key abilities. The first one, understanding of business system. And leaders should not be professional in all the areas and functions as it's usually expected, but should understand very well the system as a whole. The second here in external is generation of new ideas. It's not only about the leader, not about only himself. It's about inspiration and stimulation of others to deliver new ideas as well, to welcome other ideas as well. The third one is consistency in external thinking mindset. Consistency is usually connected to the fact that people see and feel very well in coherence of decisions or actions. And usually this inconsistency destroy the trust and people inconsistency. So consistency is a very, very important thing. Another thing, little thing in external mindset thinking aspect is the flexibility. So this is a very high grade quality needed to build strong cooperation and openness in relations with other people. And internal part is usually can be described with the 4 things, which are determination or courage. It's about inspiration, to inspire yourself and inspire others. Openness and compromise. This is a very strong quality for any leader. The third one, stress resistance. Stress is surrounding us everywhere, and leaders should have a very strong inner power I'm too old to learn. And this is a real issue for the operating leader. When the leader has lost the ability or desire to learn, he blocks others to be developed. And these qualities are inherent to real, authentic leaders. And you can use this triangle for diagnosis. Just to give you some tips here. For example, what possibilities do we have? Or themes in the calendar of the leader. The second is possibility to use this triangle is to identify pressure of tension zones. It will help to see invisible or neglected areas and correct the situation. The third is to identify current factor which dominates over the decision-making process and influence its effectiveness. The fourth, it may help you to understand how often and in what situations the leader is changing its focus. For example, by different actions or decisions. And here I would like to say that, using this triangle in your work, you can make more clear for the leader to answer the question, what will help to demonstrate leadership qualities over difficult or challenging situations? Another thing which definitely will be sort of like, helpful to look at is to apply it will help you to apply the structure to your work, to help leader to achieve higher self-awareness level in different aspects, in different areas, combining task, people, and mindset. It also helps to monitor action and thinking, giving helicopter view on leader's role and responsibility. And it will help a lot when you work with someone who was just promoted to higher position in the light of the leadership qualities. And it will help to work at any level of management or leadership. So then I'd like to take you through when to use this triangle, when to use this, we can call it even radar, combined of, these three parts. The first is to focus zones and proportions in each aspect. For example, you can ask the leader to keep a diary, to analyze, to evaluate the focus, agree on changes, and work on the corrections to change focus, for example. And important here that opinion of peers and subordinates evaluate before and after to measure leader interventions or changes in all three dimensions, task, people, and thinking or mindset, is going to be very, very helpful and important. The second idea when you can use this triangle is when you want to evaluate the influence of organization to the leader's current environment. The pressure points of the leader from organization, a sort of way to evaluate the climate in organization, the cultural features. Very useful question here would be, what aspects at the expense of others comes from the organization? Or another question you can use here, what leadership aspects the organization is focused on? The third idea when to use this triangle is when you want to identify personal preferences or patterns of the leader. So it means that you will identify where the leader focuses its attention more and where is the pattern. And the fourth thing will help you to standards setup. After ideas, which I gave you 1, 2, and 3, this idea has a very deep hidden meaning. So basically, the question is, whose expectations the leader will meet or satisfy, mainly? His or her own or organizational, or somebody else, for whom the leader will work on his or her competences. So then, another idea how to use this triangle and when to use. It's when you want to have identify the risks and consequences. The question here, the relevant question here would be, what type of personal risks the leaders see in each aspect? Task, people, mindset. The status, health, failure of business KPIs, the team losses, team failures, or unpleasant tasks or discussions, whatever. Or focus will change inconsistently. Yeah, you can really see asking questions around these 3 things and get a lot of information on risk and consequences. Another idea when to use this is when you want to get the team expectations evaluations. So ask the team over the team session or separately if you has access to the leader team. The team which he is managing. At what aspect the team wants leader to focus or concentrate more out of these 3? It could be quick online questionnaire as well, in a case if you don't have direct access to the team. And the last idea, which I'd like to share with you, when to use this 3 triangle, is set up personal goals. So basically, the question we may answer here is, at what aspect the leader will focus his or her goal and change his or her leadership qualities. So just, think of it and try to use it, because when I use it in my work, it really helps a lot. And I have identified, as you see, 7 possibilities when you can use it, at least. But I'm sure that you will find some other ideas after you start using this tool. So then I'd like to share with you that, we know that coaching is always about change. And working with leaders, we mainly work with a change. What we change? We change thinking, personal qualities, habits, beliefs, behavior, and relations. And changes are distinguished by, firstly, a strength-based approach. So we believe in the capacity and potential of people. The coaching process is oriented toward to identify and nourishing those gifts and talents. Secondly, usually changes are distinguished by teaching people to fish. And we help people to solve their own problems using situations to help people access and develop their own power and capacities. And the third thing which is important here is helping people to be change. And one of the most important work is to help leaders to acknowledge the need of the change. So basically, in other words, to achieve the change. The change is timely and accurate, and we can call it even shift from one state of mind or behavior to another. In many, if not most situations, clients have the potential and inner resources to address the situations and changes they bring to coaching. Our objective is to help clients shift into a place of greater self-empowerment and access their own inner wisdom and resources. We are constantly seeking to teach people to fish rather than provide a great meal. Another reason for focusing on this inner shift, if we give client answers, they often do not really build the depth and of commitment required for successful follow-through and implementation. So basically, our goals as coaches are following. The first help shift client relationship to their own situation. It may happen with, from the powerlessness to self-responsibility, or identify and address what's in the way of the client solving their own problems, limiting beliefs, perceptions, emotional triggers, and others. The second is our role and our goal as coaches is to to identify and address what is in the way of the client solving their own problems. Help the client to clear about what they really need. Sometimes the shift is the client's need, the concerns where they really in the domain of. As a coaches, we want to support our clients and assessing their inner resourcefulness so that they feel empowered and deal creatively and effectively with their own situations. We work from the assumption that with the exception of technical knowledge, so shifting may occur naturally as a result of using triangle approach, which we just captured, task, people, and mindset. And I would suggest another few techniques that have the potential to quickly assist people in shifting respectiveness, emotions, and energy. And remember that we as coaches should set up a very good level of presence, rapport, and deep listening. And these qualities remain the essence of good coaching. It's important to never lose the essential human-to-human connection that is in the heart of any type of coaching. So now I will focus on some ideas how to work with the mindset, because I think it's one of the most difficult parts of work when coaches work with anyone and with the leaders especially. So mindset. In shifting mindset, we work directly with exciting concepts, beliefs, and attitudes to help to free clients from limiting perspectives. So the tool number one, what do you already know? Almost always a great question. Simply ask the client, what do you already know about this? Just responding to this question may begin to help shift the client into the assessing their own resources. People usually know more than they think they know. The second tool to work with mindset is a feedback. So when it should be used, use when the client seems stuck. Here, we use our own insights and energy to offer clients new and helpful, empowering perspective on their situation. In using feedback as a state-shifting tool, we especially want to mirror back to client their own positive qualities or positive trends that they may not be in touch with. We want to be very careful not to offer the feedback in this stage that might trigger clients into feeling inadequate or shameful. And examples. Lately, they're beginning to make a difference. So basically, this type of examples describe how you can use the feedback, not just after you observe something significant, But when you have some indications of, to help client to 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 change the mindset, so you give this type of feedback. And you may continue this with a question, what exactly is in your mind? Yeah, that will help as well. Then if you continue further, taking some positive steps, so we can look at the tool number 3. Sounds easy or well known, reframing. When to be used when we're working with a mindset. Use it when the client's existing points of view are limiting and they seem blocked in finding new perspectives. In reframing, we challenge client limiting beliefs and perspectives by offering new and hopeful, empowering ways of viewing the situation. The skillful reframe should be giving timely, not premature in a way that limits or undermines the client's self-expressions. Believable, not experienced as a spin or denying the reality of the client's experience, and empowering, creates new possibilities. You may ask client to reframe, or you can do it by yourself. So what to reframe, for example? And here are some general categories of reframes. First, problems into opportunities. It's really going to be tough having to fire this person, your client may say. And you may reframe it into, here's an opportunity to get someone with upgraded skills and experience you've been needing to implement the new strategic plan. So second, what to reframe? Working with executive, it's individual perspective to social perspective. For example, a woman manager is having a hard time being hard with the senior team meetings. And she was feeling really badly and seeing things completely through the frame of her personal insecurities and feeling of an inadequacy. So you can reframe, this is not just about you feeling shy or insecure. There is a gender dynamics at play here. The management team is mostly male. So there is a generally fast-paced competitive style to the meeting. And when you do try to speak, your contribution are rarely acknowledged. So basically, this is a type of reframe which can show you, illustrate the individual perspective to social perspective, from perspective of genders. The other one is big and overwhelming crisis into justice situation. As an example, the board is divided. Some members don't show up for the meetings. And your clients say that I can't get any help I need. So how it could be reframed? You can say, yeah, this board, like many other boards of small nonprofits, doesn't function all that well. So you'll get through this. Dealing with the board challenges and board development, it's a normal part of your job. So basically here, when we're saying that it's normal part of the job, you make big and overwhelming crisis into the justice situation. It's just a part of the job. In other tools, and I like it very much, it's transformational questions. When to use it? Use it when the client's stuck with a mindset. Transformational questions invite the client to break out of the existing paradigm into the new possibilities. They challenge the client to find their own reframe. We can help evoke shifts by asking questions that surface and challenge basic assumptions, stimulate new and creative thinking, raise energy and evoke even more questions, and some examples of transformational questions are here. What else might this experience mean? Or how else could this experience be described? is there more positive story you can tell about this set of events? So just turn the client to the other side of it. What is the opportunity here? Yeah, if everything is really bad, where the opportunity could be? What would the real breakthrough look like for this person? Another example of question: if you felt completely free to do what you want, what would you do? Another example: are you absolutely sure that the meaning you have made of this is completely true? So this is examples of transformational questions which you can use, but use in the context of the situation, because here I gave you some, some frames, I would say. Another ideas I wanted to share with you is the tool called forward focus. The forward focus is to be used when the client seems stuck or complaining about the past. So in this simple but impactful process, we ask the client to shift conversation from the past, so which we can't do anything about, to the future. So basically we shifted to the future, to what I would like, to what the client like to do, for the present, what I can do right now. And for examples, here you can use this type of questions. What do you really want? What are your options? What choices do you have? What might you do? So we'll just keep here for a while. So this is basically just when the client seems stuck, just ask him this type of questions. If he starts to complaining about the past, because past is the past, and we're looking for the future, or at least we're staying in today, in the present. Another tool which I'd like to share with you, I call it what if. So when to use? Use it when client is stuck in a victim or disempowered mindset. So use structured, repeated questions to engage the client in taking responsibility for their situation. Examples: the variation, repeated questions. So ask the client to answer verbally or in writing the question. If you were taking 100% responsibility, what would you do? And as I said, it's repeated question. You can ask it a number of times. Another question here: if you fully owned your power, what would you do? Here in this context, using the conditional tense, such as if and might, helps liberate out of the box thinking, because the client is freed from the pressure of necessarily having to commit to any of the new ideas. Client should be instructed to relax and to feel free. They should speak whatever they first think in response to this type of questions. Creativity is unlocked by welcoming half-baked and off-the-wall ideas. So basically, your client may come up with the very unexpected decision or thinking here. So another tool I would call the 3 positions, and I like it very much as well. So when to use it when the client is dealing with interpersonal conflict. So it's a conflict with somebody in office or subordinate or peer, whatever. So basically, we have 3 positions: the position of your client, so of this particular person, the position of opponent, and the position of mediator, someone who help to help them to avoid the conflict or to to make the conflict finished. So basically, step number one, you may place even chairs in front of your client. Place two chairs opposite each other, and client sits on the third one. The client imagine the person to whom they're in conflict with to be sitting in the empty chair. And client speaks directly and completely candidly to the person, to the empty chair, telling him exactly, or him or her exactly, what he thinks and feels with appropriate affect. So basically, this is position number one. The client should be himself. The step number two, ask the client to move to the empty chair, and client switch the role and imagine that, this is the other, he is already not himself, but he is the other person, the person with whom he has a conflict. So they speak in the way they imagine this other person thinks and feels about this situation. So basically, your client will become the opponent. So basically, make sure that the client stays in the role, speaking candidly with a real feeling and energy from perspective of another person. And then step number three, the client stands behind the two chairs or sit on the third one and become a mediator. So now we say that, he will share what he would do when he is not in the conflict, when he is trying to help to resolve the conflict in between these two people. And make sure that the person stays in the role. And the advice which he can give from this position and counsel is almost always helpful in gaining new perspective. So usually the third position will help a lot to go through this conflict and to reveal the conflict at this point of time. So basically, this is the tools I wanted to share with you today. And thank you very much for your attention. And it's important to acknowledge the real external challenges people face. And this is especially true when issues of social identity are the factor. So people aren't always ready to make the shift to responsibility and problem solving. If you meet resistance, test a few times one of these tools and keep trying to evoke a shift. So if you are too pushy, people may experience your uncompassionate or dismiss you as not understanding the realities which they face. These tools are really wonderful, I think, and use them in the right time and in the right place and the right way, so they can really provide a powerful boost to the coaching process and will help you to resolve or to help clients better. Thank you very much. So here I'd like to say thank you to everyone, and we'll be ready to and happy to answer your questions. Can you hear me?
Yes. If anybody has any questions or comments, now is the time. I see there's a comment from Margaret. She says, thank you for your tools. And she's also asking, what tool as a team do you suggest?
What tool is a team? I'm sorry.
I suppose, yes. What tools as a team do you suggest?
I didn't understand the question. What means as a team? Because, this is the tools to work with individuals.
Yes, Margaret, can you please rephrase the question?
Where can I see the question? Maybe I will see it myself.
Can you see a little question mark blinking at the end of the tab?
Make another individual. This one. I see. What tool is the team you suggest? Yeah, Margaret, would you please rephrase the question?
Yes, when you're working with a team,
One
what tools do you suggest?
with the team. Um,
Well, I think this
in this
question is a little.
particular,
I think this
I
question.
think that the triangle, which I started with, especially if this is a team, which the leader with whom you work as well, working for. So basically, the team of that leader. So I would suggest to use this, in a case of, usually when you work with a team, it's not only teamwork to bring up the effectiveness. So sometimes you get a feedback for the boss. So basically, I faced with this type of situations number of times. It's not only about team effectiveness; it's about the feedback for the boss. And here, I would suggest to use this, people, task, people, and mindset triangle.
Okay, let's see if there are any more questions.
Mm-hmm.
There don't seem to be any more questions or comments for now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the webinar.
Okay.
Wait. Sorry,
What
there's
is the difference?
a final question here. What's the difference between working with leaders and any other clients who are not leaders?
Any other clients?
So what's the difference between working with leaders and any other clients?
I would assume that some of these tools definitely will work well with other clients as well. Depends on the situation. Depends on the context which you're working with. Just, I will tell you like that. I do not work as a life coach, separately. I do not work with other clients. I usually, so basically I would say the 100% of my work is connected to business, and I work with leaders. And that's what I use working with leaders. But I'm sure that, these tools, majority of these tools can be used to work with other clients. Not the first one, because, the first one is definitely 100% dedicated to leadership, because it's sort of like, leadership radar, if you want. Task, people, and mindset, which is, connected very much to leadership. The other tools, you can use to other people. No problem. Who are not leaders. Yeah. I think I answered that question.
Well, good. Thank you, Natalie, very much. And thanks
Owner, the
everyone
content
who attended today.
material,
We hope to be seeing you soon in our upcoming courses. And I wish you all a very happy day. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, Natalie.
Yeah.